So welcome to Quantum Creativity Radio and TV show. We have taken a little hiatus for a little while, and then we're back with a lot of wonderful, wonderful ideas and insights, and a wonderful special guest today, Alan Wilson from UK. He is absolutely brilliant, and I'm so thrilled that he is with us. I've been wanting to chat with him for, I don't know, maybe 2 years now, Alan. I've been noticing some of the wonderful things you're doing with the Parent Champion co-creations, and so much more you'll be speaking to us about today. So welcome to the Quantum Creativity Show, and of course, with me here today, live, Santari Green, my wonderful co-creator. Thank you, Santari, for making this happen.
We finally got the technology to work.
Yes,
Hold on.
yes.
Hi, Alan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Santari. Thank you.
So we've got a few things that we want to ask you, of course. We know something about your initiatives with parents and children and schools, but it's particularly about this, what you call the Free School Foundation, which is your own initiative. So if you'd just like to talk, perhaps give us a little bit of a lead-in into who you are, what you do, and how does this initiative come to hit the headlines?
Okay, about 12 years ago, I discovered the power of coaching to create personal empowerment, and also identified my passion to holistically develop millions of children globally. I had no idea how I was going to do that, and I started with the children, and I soon found any child with a parent had a parent with a bigger problem, so I worked with parents the majority of time. What I discovered is what I've called an energetic connection, which is the same as intuition, instincts, gut feeling, and stuff like that. And when people become congruent, they are able to connect to their intuition, their innate abilities so much clearer. So the whole program is based around coaching, emotional literacy, and mindfulness techniques to create empowered parents. And the fantastic part is that this energetic connection actually not only changes the whole emotional state of the parent, but the child who tends to take responsibility for that emotional state calms down. And they then behave differently even at school when the parent's not there, and the parent doesn't actually have to do anything because they become calmer in themselves. And I've worked with the parents, and I've got an evidence-based program now, but what I wanted to do is now to take that into schools so that the teachers see themselves differently and treat the children differently so they can be more of themselves. But to get that into the secondary schools over here is a real challenge because there's so much dictation from the Department of Education and a load of other influences. And so they're not really open to doing anything different from what they are. So having found that, I decided to set up this free school initiative, which I've now found is going to probably take a couple of years because I need to create a team of people that are in alignment. And during the time I've been thinking about it and talking about it, I've been aware of a couple of other concepts that I want to add to my own personal development approach, which would be the foundation of what the school does. So the first one is a guy called Frederic Laloux. He's written quite a lot about reinventing organisations, and there's three aspects to this company organisation. One is self-management, two is wholeness, and the third one is evolutionary purpose. So what he's doing is taking those approaches into businesses, and they're having profound, impactful changes. So what I wanted to do is, instead of having a vertical organisation within the school, to have a more horizontal one, which this book is based on. And there's loads of fabulous things in there, and there's a particularly good case study of a school in Germany that's actually doing this sort of thing. And when you read it, it'll bring tears to your eyes when you see how fantastic these children become because they're approached differently. And the third one is, I noticed in Finland what they're introducing is topics instead of subjects. So the idea is that a topic around maybe the European Union would cover the subjects of maybe geography, history, languages, weather, so that students come out of the schools much more prepared for the world outside. So I feel that those three excuse me, concepts would make a really powerful school, and that's really my intention.
I had a look through the case study that you just mentioned, and it was talking about self-management.
Yeah.
Now, that seems to me to always like to be a tricky thing, because teachers always, of course, would like to have a certain amount of a control environment, because that's the way that things are generally done. How does this actually work then in practice in this with this new initiative? How do the teachers take a real back seat and just have a modified role as a teacher, or is it really about the child ethos of they decide what is it they want to learn and then find out ways in which that learning can be progressively applied to their own stage of learning?
Well, that's a really pertinent challenge, Santari, because what we need to do is to find teachers that are open to doing something different. Because as you know, if someone's not open to doing something different, it ain't going to happen. And that's the problem of the existing school system. So what we have to do is set up a different school system so other people can see it and then buy into it. So it's really finding those teachers that want to do something different. And there's a lot of them because they're frustrated and leaving in droves. I mean, my own daughter has just become a teacher, and she said a lot of people are leaving after the training because of all these pressures they have. And she's under enormous pressure already without being properly trained. So that's really the answer, is we need to find different teachers.
So when you say it's a free school, what does that actually mean? Free in the sense of, do you have to pay, or is it got some other meaning?
No, it's to come out of council and Department of Education control, so that they make up their own decisions and they can do whatever they want within, obviously, restrictions that are agreed with the Department for Education before you start. But they're not accountable to the Department for Education for the curriculum. They can actually deliver it in the way they want to.
So at the moment, this is just conceptual, isn't it?
It is.
What would be your next step then? Would it be to almost like have some sort of pilot to have this run on a very small scale, but to prove that it is an idea which perhaps has reached a particular place of implementation, and that there are perhaps other places around the world where you can point a finger and say, look, it works there in some way, and why not here in
Absolutely.
the UK?
Absolutely. But the first step is to find a strong team that are all in the same alignment, who want to achieve the same objective. And by creating that team and then going through the process with the Department for Education, we can then start a school. And there's a huge number of free schools created over here now. And if the concept proves successful, then it might attract a trust, even during the development stage of another already established free academy status schools, and taken into their wing to then flourish from there.
Well, I know that Cezarina's got her own particular initiative of the associated with the Yoga Alliance. So maybe you've got thoughts along this along Alan's methodology too, about letting the children really take much greater initiative about what's most important for them. So what have you seen so far for yourself, Cezarina?
Yes, I have I have started this training, Alan, for teachers. Of course, it's for any adult. It could be a parent, it could be a teacher, an occupational therapist, anyone who works in the schools, an educational system who's, like you said, I'm encountering a lot. And I was one of those disenchanted teachers myself. That's why I'm not in the classroom any longer. And I love teaching, but my heart was aching for something bigger and better.
Yes.
And when I say that, you know what I mean? It's not, I'm not trying to point fingers at any particular thing, but what doesn't work, it just doesn't work. So for 5 years now, I've been going in from the outside with these programs, just literally traveling, like traveling, you know, gypsy, whatever you want to call me, with a bag of tricks and magical things, from school to school who was open. Every school that was open-minded, and of course I had to deal with administration and parents were really being introduced to these new things, and they're still being introduced. But these 5 years have been so huge in actually bringing that in. Like so much open, especially in my city, just working here, and it's quite big place with a lot of Montessori schools. For example, Cincinnati is known to be filled with lots of Montessori schools who are still part of the public school system, which is very interesting. So I just, being just one of me, okay, I just took it upon myself like you. I decided, and I realized while teaching in Africa in the international school there, I realized that what we do individually as one teacher, we are touching the microcosmos of the bigger macrocosmos of everything. So I knew, you know, back in 2007 when I started to do this with the kids there, and it was around the world, I knew it was the very fabric of what I was speaking in my own way, and that was enough then. But of course, when I moved back, I wanted to continue to touch it, you know. So I've been doing that with these programs and feeling like I played my role, because everyone, obviously, you, me, Santari, everyone who loves education and teaching and wants to have an impact in a new way is simply having to go deeper into themselves and realize I'm already doing it. So no matter how it looks like, I'm already doing it for a while. This is now. So my message is, and continuing now with this training program that I'm doing in my own space, I'm actually having to do it right now. I haven't yet gone out into school to do it. That's the next step. But my whole message is those who are ready and want to learn more and go back into the school system and be that change in their own way, they could do it this way. And that's what, you know, I've done when I lived in Africa, and I worked in the system and the international system there. I had that freedom to some degree, which is really nice. It does depend from school to school who is, you know, that's very important, because more and more leaders of schools, I do believe, are awakening to the new. They are. It's just a matter of learning and understanding, how you said, how to shift and transcend those templates that have been put in place for a long time, and they don't no longer. It's not that someone is trying to, you know, scare, you know, the system, or shake it or make it crumble. It's not that. It's just the natural progression. What next? If these things don't work, those templates can hold no longer the new energy or the new dreams and visions. We just simply have to expand, right? So if, you know, my approach has always been gentle, and I have not tried to, you know, particularly point fingers. Of course, we're all, you know, and we have that impulse because it's normal. I mean, when you get frustrated after a while, it's normal to want to keep talking about what doesn't work. But like you, I'm trying to go in and say, okay, well, it's as simple as it's not working. So what could they do to positively impact now and expand and cultivate something, a new garden of you know, of insight and transformation for everyone. And with the coaching tools, with the leadership tools, the creativity, and all these, the mindfulness, the yoga tools, everything we've learned can have an impact, really. And I have used, for example, for me, I see the power in every little thing. And I'm not saying that, like, for example, Santari's book, Imagic, I put that into my training program because I've seen the potential how that can change them just by reading it. So if simply one book, simply one person writing from Santari, writing from his space of huge opening of beingness, can change, can touch the lives of teachers. Well, just by reading that and opening up to being themselves in that space. The way you're doing it with the mindfulness, the way you're doing it with the parents, the way you're seeing the thing of in the world. So the excitement for me is I think all of this is already here. It's been here for a while. The foundations have been laid out. It's just how, like you said, how do we find each other to sort of weave together and co-create at this level now? Because it's here. It's been here for a little while. I've been feeling it for a few years now.
So, Alan, I'm sure that you have a vision of what it looks like when children come to this school and bring something of themselves into the classrooms. Can you sort of like talk us through what it is that you envisage is different in this new place, this new free school initiative? What is almost like the driving spirit of it?
It's really the beautiful, the creativity, the wisdom of young children before they go into the school system. Because what happens is they're treated as empty vessels and that they need filling. They're actually already full, and all they need is to explore themselves from that place. But nobody does that, not even at home. And so, that's, for me, that's what needs to happen. And I feel that with those three concepts that I've mentioned, it gives the best chance for that to happen. And obviously, if we're working as a team like the three of us are here, it's going to be more powerful than just one. But what I want to do is to create this school for people to see and start getting some results. But that's from my perspective. So from your perspective, Cezarina, obviously Montessori is a really big opportunity because they're much more open and flexible. So have you managed to get some sort of network of Montessori schools that are taking your program?
Well, I just did the training actually this spring, so this was exciting. And I, more or less, the way I did it, I just simply energetically asked the universe. I said, I'm ready. Where's the group of people first that's coming into this weaving with me? And they simply showed up. Now, they're not necessarily from the places I've been and taught the programs. And that was interesting to notice. They're not from there yet. And I haven't yet approached those schools to say, well, I would love to bring this professional development. That's my next to-do list. But I wanted to see what happens if just for my own, for my own joy and delight to weave this in this first group and see what happened. And it was really, I was in the stage of witnessing, the transformation for me and for them at the same time. One of the people or beings that stepped into the circle, and I kind of wanted that, but I didn't know it was going to happen this way, was 11 years old. So here I was dealing with a brilliant, genius child, a preteen, that I met in my classes for a year. I've observed her, and I've noticed her presence. I mean, all the children I work with, every child I meet are magical. But there's specific children that are different levels of presence that really touch me immediately. I just know. So after observing her for almost a full year of classes and the program, I approached her parents and I said, I'm going to do this program. I know she's only 11. I know there's only one more child like this who's 12. She's in California. She's doing this type of work already. So why not approach you? would you be interested? Her parents want, her mom is a teacher, school
Oh,
teacher.
wow.
And of course they pondered, and I had to do phone calls and conference calls and just with the family and ask, I was asked questions. Well, what is this? Is how demanding is this? She's still going through school. That means in the weekend she'll have to do this work on the side. And I said I think she can do it. I see absolutely no obstacle for her to not. And she did. And she did so brilliantly that I'm still in awe of what just happened. So I'm sort of in that place, Alan, where I just gone through a next big fiery passion circle of transformation, and here I am absorbing at this level. What is this growing into? Just like you, because I have to soak it in a little bit. I don't want to rush things.
No, 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 no.
So I have approached a private school in town, and they're really amazing. They do try. That's what you just said. That's their part of their vision, and they are very interested in the fall of this year to have me come in and do professional development with some of these tools. Of course, I will have to adapt my program. I won't be teaching the whole full program, but I will be adapting it to what their staff needs, and that's really exciting already to kind of put that on my agenda for October. So
Wow.
as I'm looking at this, I'm paying attention how to actually have that conversation with these schools. I haven't gotten to have the conversation yet with some of them still.
So have you got that 11-year-old on video talking about her experiences?
I have a little, what I did is I had snapshots of being in the moment in the circle with us and how she has been already helping. I have a little snippet of her speaking about going to her own school and helping. She's been doing this for a while, helping her peers with literally coaching them. She didn't know she was coaching them, but she's coaching them in a positive way. She has been for a couple of years now, she says. And she gave examples of how some of them, they said, we don't know if we have a meaning. We don't know. They're really down at school. And she would go in and say, yes, you do. You have a purpose. And it was incredible. She, out of the blue, started that conversation. I happened to have my little iPad right there. And I had those few minutes of that. And that was a gem because that was not planned. And this is the best that, when you actually, I could actually try to have her talk about it later and give her, oh, you should speak about this. But I love when it just happens.
Absolutely. But it is their experiences that really make a difference to people viewing it, doesn't it? And if her mum and dad gave permission for you to put it on YouTube, that would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I do have their permission, and I could share that with you, and
Yeah.
I could probably have her talk more, and if she comes to set up a little thing, she's spoken that her dream. I mean, she is already teaching all of this in her whole neighborhood. I get pictures of her from her mom in the backyard on a blanket, having children around her, and she's teaching them meditation and calming the mind, and I'm blown away because it's her passion and her dream to become a preschool teacher eventually. And she said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a preschool teacher and be able to do all of these things with my kids in the classroom. That's what she said. It's so special.
What a great ambassador for your work, Cezarina. Yeah, please share.
Sounds like she's doing it already.
She's doing it already. She is.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, Alan, what do you think it will be like in a couple of years from now? Will you be doing it already?
Oh, almost certainly.
Yeah. You are already doing it, right?
Yeah, I'm already doing it in my intention. It's just making it a reality so that other people can see the results and understand what's going on and why and how they need to approach their work differently.
Yeah, it's getting it understood and then getting it accepted.
Exactly.
Well, the very best of luck with all of that.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything further that you'd like to add about the program?
I'm interested in what you took from that case study from the school in Germany. What was the biggest thing you took from it?
I think the thing about getting it to be managed successfully, so that people are really on board with what is being done, they understand it, and that they feel aligned with the whole concept of the self-management.
Mm.
Because I think children do not necessarily, in my experience, understand what self-management really implies until they see some example of it, and
Yeah.
then they can really understand it. So it's
Uh,
about getting the examples in place to make it really effective, and then I think it starts to roll itself. But it is about getting a group together who are willing to try this new way of going forward, of teaching, of learning, of understanding, of comprehension. As you said, when you no longer teach in terms of strict subjects like history and geography, but broaden the spectrum of teaching itself and of learning itself, so that you get a much richer and fuller relationship with what is being presented to you, so that you understand it in your own way, in your own time, and do with it what you want to do with it.
well, it's them remembering their knowing, isn't it, really? Because they've got all of this in them. It's just that they haven't been using it or aware of it. Have you had a chance to read that case study, Cezarina?
No, after we finish here, let me know, send me the link or tell me where to find it, and I will definitely look it up.
Okay, well, the link is developyourchild.co.uk forward
Oh,
slash
it's okay. It's on your website. Good.
hyphen school.
Yeah.
And that will give you the links both to the case study, but also to Frederic Laloux's whole approach, sort of PowerPoint of that. And it'll also give you some more information to a link from the Finland project. So, yeah, I'm really interested in maybe having another chat in a few months' time.
Yeah, totally. I was feeling that as well. I think this is a good, today is a really good stir for all of us to send that good energy to the momentum of this, Alan. This is great. This is making me excited.
Me too. I'm
Okay.
really glad we persevered and got there in the end.
Generate the excitement. Thanks for being on the show, Alan. We look forward to seeing you maybe in a few months' time, see how the initiative is going, and maybe there's going to be another success story on the cards.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to get an invitation to Australia.
Aha! Says he casually.
It'll be fantastic anyway. Whatever we do is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's been great having you on the show, Alan. And
Yeah.
until
Good
the next
to
time,
see you.
it's goodbye from the Quantum Creativity Show.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for now.
Bye. Bye.